Companies spend billions trying to answer one single question. What really makes someone great at their job? We look at things like intelligence, their experience, their personality. But what if it turns out one of the most powerful predictors of success has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Well, today we're diving into a huge meta-analysis that really shines a light on this unsung hero of workplace performance: listening.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with that overlooked predictor. Then, we're going to get really specific about what perceived listening actually is. From there, we'll see how it builds incredible relationships, how that impacts our hearts and minds, and then we'll connect it all directly to job performance. And finally, we'll talk about how you can make this your new workplace superpower.
Okay, so figuring out who's going to be a top performer, that is pretty much the holy grail for any organization, right? Researchers have been trying to crack this code for a century, and yeah, they found some good clues. But it turns out a massive piece of that puzzle has been consistently, and I mean consistently, overlooked.
So just take a second and think about it. If you had to put all your chips on one single thing to predict how well someone will do in their job, what would you choose? Would it be raw smarts, years of experience, maybe a specific personality trait like being super organized?
Chances are your answer is probably one of these guys. General intelligence, how conscientious someone is, maybe how they do in a structured interview. And look, these are all solid predictors. But this huge new analysis found that this list is missing a key ingredient, and it's one that's just as powerful as any of the others.
So that missing ingredient, it's listening. But hold on, because this research uses a very, very specific definition. We're not just talking about being quiet while someone else talks. No, it's something much deeper, and it's probably not what you think.
Here's the core idea, and it's crucial. Perceived listening is not about the listener. It is all about the speaker. It's their gut feeling, their perception that you're paying attention, that you're actually understanding where they're coming from, and, this is the secret sauce, that you're acting benevolently, that you've got their back. This is a total game changer. For years, we thought good listening was all about how many facts the listener could remember and repeat back. This new model just flips that whole script. The most important question is no longer, what did you hear? It's, how did you make the other person feel? And that shift, well, it changes everything.
So, if this perceived listening is so powerful, how does it actually work? What's the magic here? Well, its main impact, its biggest punch, comes from building seriously high-quality relationships. The researchers even have this amazing term for it. They call it an epistemic glue that bonds people together. Just look at that number. In the world of social science, a correlation of 0.51, that's huge. That is a massive deal. In fact, it was the single strongest effect they found in the entire analysis. It's a straight line. The more someone feels heard by you, the stronger they feel their relationship with you is. Think about what that means for a team. So what is this epistemic glue? Well, when you truly listen to someone, you actually help them gain clarity and understand their own thoughts better. That feeling of being understood is like a psychological reward, and it creates this incredibly powerful connection. That's the glue. That is what holds people and teams together. And the reason it works so well is because being truly heard taps into three of our most fundamental human needs. First, our need to make sense of the world. Second, our need to feel competent and in control. And third, maybe the biggest one of all, our deep, deep need to belong and feel psychologically safe.
But the ripple effects don't just stop at building better relationships. Feeling heard creates this amazing positive cascade that directly impacts our emotions. Our hearts, and our cognitive functions, our minds.
We've already seen that monster impact on relationships, but look at this. Listening also has a really strong positive correlation with our cognition, that's our thinking, and with affect, that's our feelings. So if relationships are the superhighway for listening's impact, these two are major roads leading to the same destination.
So what does that mean in the real world? It means feeling heard literally makes us feel better. It boosts job satisfaction, positive emotions, but it also makes us smarter. The very act of being listened to helps the person speaking gain new insights and clarity. It's wild. Good listening actually makes both people in the conversation better thinkers.
Okay, so listening builds relationships. It makes us feel better and it helps us think more clearly. That's all great, but does any of this actually translate to the bottom line? To actual measurable job performance? Let's connect those dots.
When they pooled all the data together, we're talking over 200 different effects. The researchers found a pretty strong correlation of 0.36 between listening and performance. And that's a really significant link. But being good scientists, they didn't just stop there. They dug a little deeper.
They actually urged a bit of caution because they noticed a potential issue. About 75% of the studies they looked at relied on one single person self-reporting everything. So imagine a manager rating their own listening skills and then also rating their own team's performance. That's called mono-source bias, and it can sometimes puff up the results.
So what happens when you get really strict and only look at the most rigorous studies, the ones that used multiple sources of data? Well, the correlation drops to 0.21. Now, you might look at that and think, oh, that's a big drop. But hold on, because that smaller number is actually the most powerful one of all, as you're about to see. Okay, this is the mic drop moment. After they correct for any statistical quirks, the most conservative, most bulletproof estimate for listening's link to performance is 0.23. Now, let's compare that to conscientiousness, one of the most famous, most widely used predictors from the Big Five personality traits. Listening isn't just playing in the same league, it's actually a slightly stronger predictor. This overlooked skill is a true heavyweight.
So, what on earth do we do with all this? What does it mean for you and me? Well, this research completely reframes listening. It's not some passive, polite thing you do. It's an active, strategic tool for making yourself, your team, and your entire organization better.
If you take away one single thing today, let it be this. We have to stop calling listening a soft skill. It's not. It's an active, deliberate, strategic tool. It's a behavior you can choose to use to actively build better relationships, improve well-being, and ultimately drive high performance on your team.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. We've seen the data, we get the how, we know for a fact that listening is a powerhouse predictor of success. The only question left is, what are we going to do about it? So, who on your team, who in your life needs you to truly, completely, and benevolently listen to them today?